everyone, and welcome to KHM Today, your weekly resource for industry news and straight up fun. I'm your host, Carolyn Orff, and today is May 30th, maybe? May 31st? What is it? May 31st, 2023. It is the end of May, and of course, I think I've been saying the beginning of summer since May 1st, but it is truly the beginning of summer for me. All but the show. I am sitting outside in my backyard enjoying the fun and the sun. Of course, with summer comes who knows who's coming in and out of Carolyn's house. So for the next 2.5 months, you guys have the joy of hearing whoever might be running around my house upstairs, who might be ringing the doorbell as kids are home, the dog barking, the packages coming, DoorDash hitting my house. Who knows what's going to happen, but it's all in the name of fun and games here at KHM Today. So you guys, I missed you last week. I was on the most fabulous FAM with a group of newer agents down in Punta Cana. We had a fabulous time visiting resorts, but more than anything, we had the opportunity to learn what it was about to be on a FAM, how to get the most out of a FAM, how to capture the sites that you're seeing, the information that you're hearing, and learn from one another. So it was truly a wonderful experience. And I look forward to being able to do another one, hopefully next year, with some more of our boot camp folks. What else do we have to share? We have some amazing guests today. The first up, and I'm so glad. Hi, Sadie. Hi, Naomi. So great to see you guys. Feel free to post what you're thinking and feeling in your chat. Danielle, so nice to see you after last week. Vicky, awesome. So glad you're here with us today. Like I said, we had a fabulous group last week. We stayed at Dreams Onyx down in Punta Cana and just had a really fabulous time. So let's get started with today, though. First up is our fabulous business development manager from Celebrity Cruise Line. Please welcome Barb Qua.
Hello, Carolyn. How are we doing today?
We are great. It's summertime, and like you said, they're in the Cleveland area. It's hot, hot, hot as well. So there's nothing to be angry about today.
No, it just changes your whole mood and demeanor and everything, and just makes you happy. It's just, the winter in Colorado is a little bit different than the Midwest. We're more gray. We talked about this one's gray skies. You have more blue skies. So yeah, life is good. And we have a forecast that looks like it's going to have many days just like this. So doing well.
Well, and we couldn't be more thrilled. When we were starting to prepare for the show and knowing you were going to be a guest on, I was like, all right, this is an opportunity to do a push for Crystal, which is in 2024 on the Celebrity Reflection. And in all actuality, we don't really need to do too much of a push because we don't have that many cabins left, which is just amazing to hear. We have so many agents coming to join us and on your fabulous ship. And people can't be more thrilled to be educated, to have that sense of community, and of course, recognition along the way. So when you hear that, like, was there ever a doubt, like, will anyone want to come? Like, it's like hosting a dinner party and then no one's showing up.
Exactly.
You ever concerned, like, no one's going to come?
I could tell from the reaction when we announced it last year that, okay, we might need to double the amount of space. It was a great reaction, and Celebrity, we're due to host the lovely Crystal Awards, and we will have some wonderful things planned for everybody. And some of you have sailed on Celebrity, some of you have not, and we're on a beautiful Solstice class ship, the Reflection. So I'm more excited than ever.
That's awesome. Well, we have a really fun topic today, and I'm so glad because these topics kind of come to my mind, and then I'm always like, ooh, this guest is perfect for this. Because my thought process around this had to do with a recent experience that I had with some clients. But today we're going to be talking about, what are those words? What can you say to clients, existing clients primarily, that to get them to upgrade to that next category, land or sea? Because what ends up happening is they go there and then they can't ever downgrade. And this happened to me recently. I had clients sailing the Celebrity Apex, and they ended up in the retreat. And their feedback when they returned was that it was fantastic, loved it. And the only downside is they can never go back.
Yeah.
So what are those words or ideas or suggestions you have for agents that are looking to find the right words to get that client to just bump up?
For sure, especially for, the past guest, maybe they've been in an ocean view or a veranda. And I know the agents know how to qualify their clients and ask them what their past experience was on a cruise. And then I always just say you have to certainly show them pictures of the staterooms, whether it's on your computer screen or have them pull it up on social media, and just talk to them about, the upgraded experience. Use the words that we compare the retreat to an upscale rivals, a luxury resort hotel, like on their club floor or something. So you need to just kind of find out what's the next upgraded experience they want. Also say, you need to treat yourself. You need to treat yourself to the retreat. So you kind of paint the picture. And I always believe once you show pictures of all of our suites, we've expanded our suites even on our new builds, because we are finding, especially after COVID, when people can travel for a couple years, they are going to treat themselves and they do want that upgrade. Don't ever talk about obviously the price first. You're going to talk about everything that's all included. So when you talk to them about with the retreat, if you're checking in, for example, in Fort Lauderdale, you're going to go up a special escalator to a special suite lounge check-in where they have champagne and some snacks, and they're there with iPads, and they're going to check a seamless check-in process. And then even before they have cruised or even got on the ship, they have a personal concierge that's going to reach out to them by phone and ask them what they're looking for in their stateroom. Once they get on board, and it's great to, even sell them into the lead-in suite, which I've had the experience to go in a sky suite. Once you're in any lead-in suite, you are in the retreat area. Doesn't matter what level of suite you are in. So it's a great way to start selling into the sky suite first. And then the all-included is amazing of what they get. They get the upgraded premium drink package, the upgraded Wi-Fi stream package. They get an onboard credit. Their gratuities are included. And they also have, wine or champagne that's in their room. There's so many, not to mention the lounge, their own personal concierge lounge, if you will. And it is open 24/7. So breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's all window facing, outdoor, great place to stop in for a cocktail before dinner. And speaking of dinner, they also have their own private Lumine restaurant only for suite guests. The menu is prepared special in this restaurant, changes daily. The wait staff, they pair wines with your menu. They get to know the guests. It's just really painting the picture to sell clients to an upgraded experience.
I love the idea of also saying, I know you guys, here is your balcony midship cabin that you've enjoyed in the past, but I also wanted to show you something that I happened to find that I think is a really great value for your sailing. And sharing that with them, because you never know. And I have found that when couples are traveling together, if you can get one to do it, you usually get the other one to do it, because no one wants to be the one not doing it. Everyone then
100%.
wants to do it.
Yeah, and then like you mentioned, Carolyn, once they have that experience in the retreat, next time they book with you, they're going to be booking probably even a more upgraded suite at that point. You really can't go back down.
You can't
and who
go back
doesn't
down.
want a suite?
It's just that return factor is huge. And when you can, I love the idea of painting a picture, right? That's why I never ask the budget question, right?
Yes.
I listen to what it is they're thinking, they're feeling. With this particular client, I knew that they were going to be welcoming 2 new grandchildren within the course of 8 weeks of returning home. So this was their retreat before some of the craziness ensued in the summer. So even time of year and listening to what the family or the couple has been dealing with the last couple of months, sometimes that can even open itself to, wow, it sounds like you guys really could use X, Y, and Z.
For sure. And then certainly you guys all have, the ultra luxury cruisers who have always preferred maybe the smaller luxury cruise lines. But again, they would experience a small luxury experience within a big ship and get to experience all the other events, activities, and entertainment, which some of the other small ultra luxury lines don't offer. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Well, and I always find first and last day of the cruise to be the most maddening just because it's chaos, and to have my own little line and a seamless experience and a nice little lounge and restaurant I can go to, like, that's huge for me personally, because that
Agreed.
sets the tone for vacation, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about, we talk about the retreat, and I think that is an experience that's absolutely worth the additional, right, from a traditional balcony cabin. What other experiences are on board the ships that you would say absolutely worth it? Share it with your client because they aren't going to want to miss out, even if it's an additional cost.
No, for sure. And, we don't, people don't like to be nickeled and dimed on board. So you really have to kind of identify things that you've done on a past cruise and really enjoyed the experience. But there's a number of different things. Personally, I like the small group shore excursions, which are about 20 people or less. And you might pay a little bit more for one of those experiences on shore. But for me, I think it's whatever you're paying for it is worth it, because I like those small, you get more out of it, that destination experience and education for sure. Of course, we have a number of specialty dining venues on all of our ships, and some of them change from ship to ship. But a couple of my favorites are Les Voyages, which is now on the Beyond, and the Apex. So it is the top rated restaurant, star Michelin chef menus that are prepared, designed. So if you really have a special anniversary or occasion, I recommend that. And then, of course, everybody on the specialty dining sides, they love La Petite Chef, which is a very interactive video character screen that comes on your plate, and a little chef prepares the food via a video that's shining on your plate, and it's just so interactive. People take more pictures during that dining experience. And then last, as far as spending a little bit more on dining, is it's called the Chef's Table, and it sells out. So if a client's interested, they're a foodie and they love the best restaurants in the world, they would love the Chef's Table. I believe it's 8 to 10 people only on only a few nights. And this, again, is a French cuisine design, top of the line menu from our chef, Danielle Baloud. And it's paired with wine. And honestly, Carolyn, for the price, for what that experience is, it's not bad at all. But there's other things you can do. A little bit extra charge, maybe rent a poolside cabana on the ships that offer that. It's great for families and small groups traveling together, because you can sit there and have wine and food, or drinks and food delivered to your cabana. We have, of course, the favorite wine tastings, different tastings from Oregon wines or Californias or French. So we have a selection of those activities. And those are we have those at different locations on the ship. And then one of my favorites for people who love the cruise and love to know, like, how does this cruise dock? How does this cruise feed all these people? It's called Behind the Scenes Ship Tour. That's a really fun activity. So you'll have the experience to go into the galley, and you will see all the chef's back and how clean it is. That always blows my mind. My own kitchen can't. Yeah. And so they explain how it's just literally run. You go down this aisle, when you pick this up, you go, it's like a maze. And they prepare 25,000 meals per cruise. And they will explain how that process is run. They will talk about how many millions of eggs they order for one cruise, how many watermelons, it's absolutely astounding. And then, of course, the favorite part of the ship, behind the scenes ship tour, is the bridge. So you can see how the bridge operates and how all the technology has changed so much with, just how we dock those large ships. And then last, of course, the crew area. You get to go down and see where the crew hang out. And you'd be amazed and surprised, what their wonderful living area is down there with bars and gyms and nice rooms. So yeah.
So you mentioned the concept of nickel and dime, and I have to say that none of those, like all of those, to me sound like cruise enhancements, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have a choice whether or not I want to do them
Yep.
or not, and there are some that would be more important to me than others.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm absolutely with you on the shore excursion one. I love the
Yep.
small group things. I love the private things. So that's where I'm like, you know what? There's a choice there. And I don't want those things included because
Mm-hmm.
I want to decide whether or not I want to pay for those things. And to be honest, most of the things you mentioned, I would want to pay for because they
Exactly.
add to that whole experience.
Yeah.
And the
Oh, and I
fact,
forgot to mention the spa. How can you miss
oh
the
yeah,
spa?
yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yep,
and there's a whole selection of different things you can do, from not so much to nice big packages.
yeah.
So again, depending how much you want to pamper yourself. Yep.
I love it. Well, and I just crack up. I noticed you laughing as well. I have 3 right now in my kitchen and I can't keep it clean and cooking one meal a day. Everyone's on
Yeah.
their own for breakfast and lunch. So
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a mess. All right.
Yep.
So before I let you go, we do
Mhm.
want to mention that you guys have some astonishing, gorgeous, beautiful videos for Alaska that are available on YouTube. So if we're looking for things to send to our clients to show them the beauty of what they can experience on Celebrity, those are available on YouTube. And Sam, our producer, is going to put them in the description. But talk a little bit about that. What do you think it is that Celebrity does that just sets themselves apart from others that are sailing in Alaska as well?
For sure. First of all, thanks to the marketing team, and I worked in conjunction with them to to work on those videos. They're short, they're good, they can be sent to your clients. There's selling tips why you would sell Celebrity to your client, why your client would want to go to Alaska on Celebrity, and then just the enhancements of the Celebrity Cruise Tour experience. So they're really good, really short, and it's a great way. I'm all about visuals when you're trying to close a deal to show them that. But what makes Celebrity stand out is kind of 4 areas. First of all, the revolutionized ships that we have that do the open jaw itineraries, the northbound, southbound, and that's where you're going to tag on your cruise tour. So if you're going to go from, do it afterwards, you're going to go from Anchorage to Fairbanks. We have 2 ships. Well, the Millennium has been the ship doing that open jaws for the past many years. Revolutionized. So a beautiful revolutionized ship that we put $80 million into not so long ago. 2024 season, we're using the Summit, also a very beautiful revolutionized ship. And I got to tell you, Carolyn, I love the size of these Millennium class ships. I really, really do. It just brings in that more intimate Alaska experience and just ties in the destination really well. So definitely our hardware and our ships, the best out there in Alaska. And then our lodges. That would be the other thing that makes Celebrity stand apart from everybody else, is that we've really coordinated with and contracted with the best local hotels that are located closer to that city: Talkeetna, Denali, Anchorage. So you're really in the heart of visiting those destinations. And that's why we picked those properties, and they're authentic. They have the amenities that you want in a hotel, but there's still that very Alaska feeling. I mean, we even have the beautiful in Alyeska, the Alyeska resort that has the tram. I mean, that's actually a 5-star property in Alyeska. And Talkeetna Lodge is one of my favorites because it faces right to Mount Denali when you're out on the beautiful deck. So our lodges are very important to us. And we have the reviews that we get from our lodging is great. And then service, the thing you get with a Celebrity Alaska Cruise Tour, which some of the other competitors don't offer, or it might be an upcharge or a little bit more something, is we have a fully escorted cruise tour experience. And so what does that mean? It means that we pick the local tour guides. So they're either born in Alaska, they live their whole life. Sometimes they're a husband and wife team. They act as your concierge. They educate you on Alaska. So you are greeted with our our tour guides from the second you get to the airport. And let's say you're doing it the land first, they take you to the hotel, they check you in, they facilitate your luggage, they tell you what's going on the next day. And guess what? They don't disappear from there. They're greeting you the next morning. You're getting on the motor coach, your partial motor coach, and then the rest of the transportation. So they are with you 100% of the way, that same team. So there's always two. Sometimes some of the competitors just have a bus driver and they facilitate and drive. We have two. One facilitates and one drives. So it makes it that much more personable. So definitely the service, and they will set up side tours for you. So if you want to do a side land excursion or a helicopter ride or something, kayaking, they can set that up for you as well. So the fully escorted experience is certainly a key selling feature. And then the transportation, that would be the fourth thing that makes us stand apart, because every single one of our Alaska Cruise Tour packages does have at least one rail segment in it, and we use the beautiful Wilderness Express. So it is a beautiful train, dome glass all over the top part, so it's 2 levels. We have a beautiful dining bistro cart on the lower level that it's not microwave food. It is literally homemade, fresh salmon, whatever you choose, a very delightful menu. And we just find the experience of our transportation is very comfortable. We also monitor the length on that transportation. So we don't want somebody to be in a bus for 5 or 6 hours. We really break it up. And so like, again, you have some motor coach and you have a lot of the Wilderness Express experiences in the land tour. So yeah, so the revolutionized ships, the service, the transportation, and the lodges. Those are the 4 things that Celebrity stands out more in the market for cruise tours.
I love it. And Alaska, I mean, it's always been popular, but I feel like since COVID ended, it's gangbusters.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to go up there, and it's just amazing. It's selling really well. And so we hope that the agents that are listening and the agents that are watching today will consider Celebrity as an option as they send their clients up there. Barb, thank you so much for being here today and for sharing in our discussion about getting those clients to upgrade just a smidge, because they will be lifelong clients.
Exactly.
So,
all right. Great to see everybody. Nice to see everybody on the side. Thank you for joining in. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Thank you, Carolyn.
All right, you guys, I hope let me know in the chat here if you've got clients going to Alaska this summer, and more so if they're sailing on Celebrity. All right, you guys. So our next guest, it's been a while since he's been here, but he's one of our favorites because he keeps us all in check. Please welcome David Pritchard, Apple Leisure Group's Director of Health and Well-Being. Hello, David.
Hi, how's everybody doing? It's great to be back. Yeah, I haven't seen you guys in a while, but
I know, but you're one of our favorites because you keep us all in check. You make us think about, what we're doing right and maybe what we can improve upon. And you're here today because this is Mental Health Awareness Day or month. And really it should be every month because it's important. Yeah. So what are some of the things that you feel are most important for us to know about and think about as we head into, such a busy time of year for travel agents?
Right. And this is such an important initiative. This has probably been front and center, through the whole COVID time. This has really pushed this topic to the front as far as importance. And, the great thing about our core values at Apple Leisure Group is it's self-care. And I can't think of a better way to start if, when we're stressed out and we're overwhelmed is, self-care is all about nurturing your well-being, the things that you need every day to thrive. And I'm not talking about going to the gym and, being on a selective diet. I'm just talking about the low-hanging fruit, taking a break, getting enough sleep, connecting with relationships. Just the little things are what import, those are the things that are really going to help you thrive. through any challenging times. I was having a conversation the other day about resiliency, and we were talking about, to be resilient. Everyone thinks that, you just kind of push down your feelings and it's just be strong. And I said, I disagree. To me, I want everyone to be resilient, but I also want them to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
I think a really big thing to help manage, your mental health is ask for help. Be vulnerable about what your needs are. I think that's so critical.
Mhm.
And so many people that I know in the travel industry, they're like, no, I can't ever ask for help. I'm working and working, working. I could do everything. And then all of a sudden, they're crying in their pillow, going to
Mhm.
bed because they're
Mhm.
so overwhelmed and stressed out. And so to not get there, it's all about balance, right? It's
Right.
all about allowing yourself to feel stressed out. It's going to happen, but what are you going to do to put barriers around that so that it doesn't always happen?
Mhm.
That you can manage that overwhelmingness so that it doesn't bubble up and then you really blow your lid, and you really get overwhelmed.
Um, it's interesting that you say that because one of the things that as the education manager, when I am working with agents and standing in front of a big room, a lot of times the natural tendency is to show all of the great things and let me tell you all I know about everything. And
Right.
I have learned that not only is that great, but you also have to share the things that you're not so great at or the
Yeah.
things that maybe you could have done better. And I don't like to say failures, but the things that could have gone another way had I stopped and taken a deep breath or if I had had the time to think about it a little bit more. But it is showing that vulnerable piece and knowing that
Absolutely.
there is no perfect person in any business, much less this business. And so how do you manage that expectation for yourself? Know to give yourself grace and because that's
Yes.
the only way you keep the headspace clear in my mind.
You're absolutely right, Carolyn. Give yourself a break. You
Yeah.
think about what you've accomplished in the last 3 years. Think about what we've been through. Think about the lessons we've learned. Think about how much better we are and more,
Mhm.
all of those lessons, weren't for nothing. And so I would tell everybody, first and foremost, raise your standards. For you to nurture your business and for you to nurture your job for what you're good at. I know all of you work so hard. You do your training. I bet if I looked at your calendar, you'd have your meetings, you'd have your schedule is beautifully.
Oops. Oh goodness. Did we lose David? Oh,
Um,
there he is.
but there you are. I don't know what happened. I got paused out. But one of the things I tell everybody and I challenge is where's your time in your calendar? Where's your time in your schedule?
Mhm.
Start prioritizing just as much as your meetings and your calls and your trainings and all of those things. Make sure that you're putting time in for you and protect it. Just don't put it in pencil and be like, oh, well, I can override that.
Right.
But, and it doesn't have to be a lot. It could just be a break, a mental break, going for a walk, spending time outside for 10, 15 minutes, listening to, a podcast, whatever it might be, doing some breath work. We're really big
Mhm.
into breath work at vacations because we know that it doesn't take the problems away or all those emails, but what it does is allow us to be different when we react to it. It just brings us and calms us down a little bit. So
Mhm.
I would say, number one, raise your standards. Allow yourself to be number one in your life. And we always hear,
Hmm.
put your oxygen mask on first so you can,
Yeah.
take care of the other people around you. And that's true. And I know we say that all the time, but I would tell you, you have to nurture yourself first.
Yeah.
And by nurturing yourself first, so many great things will happen out of there.
Mhm. You can't be good to others until you're good to yourself. And,
Right.
yeah, that's a huge point, and I think that goes for not only our clients, but also our family, right?
Yeah.
Um, I was with, as I mentioned to you before the show, and there's a couple of the agents on that I had the pleasure of spending last week with. And as we were walking somewhere, someone said to me, "I don't understand how you do it all." And I said, "Well, it depends on your definition of do it all, right? I do a lot.
Yep.
But I compartmentalize, right? I do this, I do this, I do this, and I'm pretty focused on my time and the blocking of my time, including my self-care. But
It's
I
really
also
important.
block time for Netflix.
Yes.
I can talk Netflix with anyone because I do make that time for my downtime, and that is how I spend my downtime. So it might
I love
look
that.
like I have it all together and things like that, but there's certain things that I do throughout my week to make sure that I do have most things together.
Yeah.
Every once in a
You know, and
while,
that's
something falls through the cracks. And to me, David, if that means I have to work a few hours on Saturday or Sunday, that's what I do because then everything feels good. If I
yeah.
create this motion of Monday through Friday and I quit at 5, everything gets thrown off. I never feel quite balanced.
Yeah. No, and Carolyn, you said so many great things there. We're really following this research for our company around work-life harmony.
Mm,
And so what it is that we're taking away this whole work-life balance thing
yep.
because the old notion of work-life balance was I'm in a meeting and I'm doing something else. I'm multitasking. It's great. I can do it all. I'm 70% here, 20% there, 10% here.
Huh.
My kid is talking to me and I'm still typing an email. That doesn't work anymore. You know what works is I love this new research around work-life harmony. And what work-life
Mhm.
harmony is telling us is exactly what you just said, Carolyn. Is like, I'm going to be all in this meeting. And guess what? When my kids get me, they're going to get me
Mhm.
all in. And guess what? When I'm done with dinner and family time, I get to tell my family, I got to go in for about an hour and a half and get some work done, but I'm all in.
Right.
Right? I'm 100% present in that task that I'm doing. So I would tell everybody, don't be afraid to try that out. Like you said, kind of put those in compartments and ask yourself, for the next 4 hours, it's all about calls. It's all about
Mhm.
follow-ups. It's all about emails. And then for 1 hour, I'm going to try something else and I'm going to do
Right.
something for me, but don't thin it out by being somewhere else, by
Right.
trying to do something else. Because what we're seeing is that it's not as good for us as we think. And it's really wearing us out. It's
Mhm.
really stressing us out. And it really overwhelms us, our hormones, our stress. And so I'm really liking this new research that's coming out around work-life harmony because it's giving us permission to put our energy into the things that matter
Mhm.
and it's really going to be successful. I really think it's going to be something that I'm going to be talking about for years to come around well-being and
Mhm.
around just how to manage our time.
Well, it all has to work together, right? I mean,
Right.
you think of something that's balancing. One, you hit a pebble and it can throw you off and you're down on the
Yes.
ground. You have to be able to compensate in other ways so that it's all integrated together and if one thing falters, it doesn't mean everything has to falter. You know,
Yeah.
it can your business, kid breaks a leg and you spend time in the emergency room, that doesn't mean your business has to falter.
Yeah.
You kind of do that and then you do this. Um,
Right.
as it heads into summertime, which is a very busy time, and we're actually going to talk about this next week. How do you manage your business and your kids and all that new added
Hmm.
chaos that you haven't had for the last 9 months? Um, is there a certain exercise or thing that you like to do that just is that, like, gives you a reset?
Yeah, well, I will tell you, as you go into the busy summer months, is create the environment for success, right? I mean, listen, the most successful colleagues that I have worked with are the ones who said, okay, for me to be successful, I know this is my reality, right? I need things around me so that it helps me be prepared and that comes about prepare and plan. So have healthy foods, cut up healthy snacks, have those all ready to go. So when you're in between meetings, you're not grabbing a bag of chips, you're grabbing some cut up
Huh.
veggies. You know what I mean? And like I said, going back to that schedule again, getting up maybe early in the morning. If landmines, like in my life, they go off all, throughout the day. So typically, if I have something for me towards the end of the day, it's really hard. So I try to get my stuff done in the morning for me,
Mhm.
like whether it's a walk or my workout or so then I'm done. I'm good. All right,
Yeah.
bring it on, life, right?
Yep.
And so I would tell all, especially the parents out there, is schedule that me time as early as you can before everybody wakes up and the chaos comes to life.
Mhm.
And then you've checked your box, right? You're ready to go. You've nurtured your self-care. But that creating that environment piece, and it could be simply just, hey, make sure there's water at your desk. Sounds really easy, right? But
Yep.
a lot of people don't have it. And before they know it, 4 hours goes by and they're like, I didn't drink any water. Well, why? Because
Not there.
you didn't have it wasn't there. So create that environment. Have a water bottle by you. Have those healthy snacks. Have breaks built into your computer that just sends you a little alarm every hour to kind of stand up, stretch,
Mhm.
right? And move a little bit. I'm a big fan of movement. I think it can change somebody's day completely. It can be done right at your desk. A simple, 30-second big stretch above your head, and reaching up to the sky, taking a deep breath in. Those things can be sprinkled through the day and they don't have to interfere with, the flow of your work or the flow of your life.
I love it. So as you were talking, I wrote down, for me to be successful, I need, and everyone that's listening or watching right now, write that phrase down and then fill it
Yeah.
in the blanks and see what you, after some thought, if you what you come up with. What does it take for you to be successful on a daily basis?
I love
I
that.
love that. I'm going to post that to the rest of the company.
And also make sure you put in there, what are those obstacles in the way, right? What are those challenges as
Yeah.
an obstacles so that you can then say, okay, maybe it's, it's, I'm spread out. I have to make lunches. I have to, take care of the house. I have to work another job, all those things. Okay, great. So it's about time then. So don't overwhelm yourself by the start.
Mhm.
Embrace your reality and say, okay, can I start with 10 minutes a day? For me to be successful, I'm going to nurture 10 to 15 minutes of my well-being a day. Okay. It's hard to say no to that. When I tell
Mhm.
people, hey, you got 15 minutes a day for you, and someone says no, I'm like, okay, all right, well then how about sleep, right? One of the biggest tools of mental well-being is getting enough rest and reset and renewing your mental and physical and emotional health. You do that all in sleep. We all need sleep. None of us are robots.
Yeah.
We all like to think we could probably work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but it's going to catch up to us. Trust me.
Right.
And I will die on the sword on this one. I used to not believe in it until the research was overwhelming that we do need more than 7 hours a night of sleep.
Hmm.
It's where our body repairs ourselves. We're going into June, which June is Alzheimer Awareness Month and Brain Health Awareness Month. And I'll tell you that the research out there on just preventing Alzheimer's around just getting enough sleep and making sure your brain gets enough recovery. It's really it's
Mhm.
something to see, and it's the lowest hanging fruit in your well-being toolkit is say maybe I'll go to bed 15 minutes earlier. Maybe I'll start with 15 and then maybe it's 30 and you go from 5 to 6 and then
Mhm.
6 to 6.5 and you're re-energized and you're
Right.
refreshed.
Yep. My kids make fun of me because I will head upstairs early. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to sleep, but I absolutely will get into bed and I will read my book or do whatever.
Yep.
But to me, to go to bed early and fall asleep early is better than getting up and being foggy where I can't function for the first
Yes.
hour of the day, even though I
Right.
know I need to. So that's kind of where I look at it. Gwen, I completely feel you. She says she's been on the go for so long, she doesn't know if she can turn herself off. It's
Mm.
hard. Gwen, I can completely relate. I am a person that is constantly on the go. I thrive almost on, I know I thrive on that checking things off my list. But you can still do that while taking care of yourself and your business and your family. So we're going to continue to talk about that. And if I ever get to see you in person, we'll really unpack that, because it's one of my
Absolutely.
favorite topics, because I've
Right.
learned so many things being in this business for the last 15 years. Many things I did wrong, and I feel like now in my life I'm actually on the right path to
Mm.
having that integration of the two and being happy with the two.
Yeah.
So
And we
and
have to listen to that,
not
that
getting out of balance.
experience,
Yep.
right? That experience in our industry is unbelievable. The travel industry is something else. I mean, it's the most special industry. It's so
Absolutely.
unique, and it's really amazing. It's but at the end of the day, the travel industry colleagues are the most unselfish people, and being unselfish means that you tend not to put yourself first. You tend to put business in front of you. You tend to put clients in front of you. And so if they can learn from someone like you, Carolyn, where you were overwhelmed and stressed and full of that, and you learned through that, like, no more. I can
Yep.
still have that kind of life and that kind of success and have it all.
Yes. Thank you, Vicky. I didn't really do anything wrong. I just didn't know it yet. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Right? We're a work in progress. Anyone that thinks they're done is fooling themselves.
No,
We are
there's a
constantly
day
a work in
one for
progress.
everybody. Listen,
Yes.
tomorrow is a day one for everyone. And I tell that to everybody. There's never a time when it's too late.
Right.
There's always a start. And that start doesn't mean, listen, my background, I'm a physical therapist. I'm a kinesiologist. I love to get people to move because I think it can change their state from being, overwhelmed to feeling really good. But it doesn't mean you need to go to the gym to do that. But your day one can just be like, I'm going to go for a walk in nature. I'm going to be with I'm going to call a friend I haven't talked to in a while and meet for lunch. I'm going to take time and read a book. I'm going to invest in training in myself about, some extra classes that I've been waiting to take.
Mhm.
There's so many ways that self-care can show up in your life. It doesn't mean that you need to go book a spa appointment, once a month, or, those are great. Don't get me wrong. Why not bring the spa to you? Why not find ways to nurture, that side of your lifestyle around you? I know my wife loves those cold rollers on her
Yeah.
face, because she gets these really bad headaches. So she uses these cold rollers, and I see her. She's like, I love this. This feels so
Yep.
good. And I'm like, why doesn't more people catch on to this little
Right.
trick? She
Right.
feels great. It's 3 minutes. And
Yeah.
take the spa home with you. There's so many ways that you can nurture your self-care right
Mhm.
in your
Right,
own
your home.
living room, your
I love
home.
it. David, we love having you on here. It's always such a great conversation. And thank you so much for your time.
Oh, I appreciate it. Everybody, just the most important thing is just take the time to nurture yourself.
Yeah.
You got one life. Enjoy this industry you're in. It's the best industry in the world, but don't let it sacrifice your health.
Yeah.
Take care,
Absolutely.
everyone. Be well.
Thank you. Take care, David. Oh, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. What a fantastic show. Absolutely adore Barb and David. And thank you to our sponsors, of course, Apple Leisure Group, who is our overall sponsor. You guys, next week, we're talking about, again, integrating that work and child. They're home for the summer. How do we balance it out? So we've got a great panel of parents from KHM that are going to share their tips and tricks with us. And we also, who else do we have? Oh, we have Norwegian Cruise Line with us. So we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Oh, Gwen, you're doing great. You're doing great. There's always an opportunity to do better, but you're doing great. Vicky, so great to see you, everyone. Karen, all my fam group that's on here today. Thanks so much for joining me. You guys, we'll see you again next week. Have a great week, everyone.